All right, Gamecock time.
Oh boy.
So under. Give me under 8 right now. I think this team's going to be bad. First of all, I think there was a little bit of a Cinderella situation going on last year. They looked so good when they start 7-0. They lost a lot of production, 103rd in returning production. Lost 7 of their 11 defensive starters, which if you watch Jacksonville State football last year, that was the heart and soul of the team, was the defense. The offense, yeah, they run the ball a little bit, but the heart that team ran via the defense, and 7 starters are gone. Also didn't really, I mean, they had a good recruiting class by Jacksonville State standards, but 122nd in the country. Another side I saw had them at 127th. So it's not like they brought a ton of recruits in to replace these names. So I expect a big drop off from the defense. And if you take away that defense, sometimes it's easy for your offense to look efficient when your defense is forcing 3-and-outs against Conference USA offenses, which is kind of what was happening. And if you take away the defense, or that defense struggles a little bit, I think that offense in turn looks a little shittier. So it's at 8. The under's at 8, by the way. So yeah, I'm leaning towards the under at 8. This is one I'd be considered betting. But let's hear what you guys think before.
Yeah, I'll go. Do you want to, or I'll go, whatever. They were 9, like you said, they were 9-4 last year. They had a hot start. Great, I think you said Cinderella. Pretty good way to put it. They lost way too much for them to rebound. They are in theory an FCS team that had a great quarterback. They carried them pretty far. They had a good defense. And how you lose everything, you have to build that back up a year later. I don't see it possible. They have the right coach to do it, but I don't think he did. They took a receiver from North Alabama. That's their biggest pickup. As I just said with the last team. Lacey, he's from North Alabama. I'm a little scared there. Like I said, I don't always trust receivers coming from those smaller schools because the secondaries, the biggest skill gap in terms of FCS to FBS is the secondaries. The secondaries are slow down there, or slow in the FCS. The receivers are kind of always going to pad stats down there. And Hughes, the DE from Ole Miss, he was a guy who was a pretty decent recruit.
Yeah, I looked up.
He just wasn't getting playing time. So that is a good pickup there, but you can't fill all those holes with one guy. I think the Conference USA schedule could get a little rough because you have a couple games that you're already circling as L's, and obviously that's Liberty and Western Kentucky for anybody. But they play 3 teams that they lost to last year. That includes Coastal. They lost to New Mexico State last year. Maybe they can flip that one around, but there's a lot of games that they won last year that probably will be flipping to L's. I just don't see it from this team.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Jacksonville State's first time in the FBS, they finished 8-4 and had a bowl game win. And whoever doesn't know, Rich Rodriguez is the coach, Jacksonville State, which is always funny to me when he was at Michigan, Arizona, West Virginia, and now he's at Jacksonville State. But, it's a good road for him. He's the right coach to lead the Conference USA team. He likes to play fast, so even though he's only returning 5 offensive starters, he relies on the depth of the team. So,
wait, Scoop, question.
Yes.
Do you know what happened to Zion Webb? Me and Andy couldn't find it. What's the deal with him? He entered declared for the NFL draft. Is he coming back?
Oh, I don't know. He's not on this team, though.
No, he's not on the roster right now.
I found a complete quarterback article, and the explanation was that he's not playing football anywhere right now. I went through this is creepy. I went through his social media. He's got nothing about football. There's no football. Zion Webb is not a football player right now. But at quarterback,
he had a 7th year. It was his 7th year last year.
He did a 7th year last year, so he had no eligibility.
I thought
he has eligibility.
I thought he had another year.
So this was I looked at their quarterback situation because last night when I did pictures for the thing, they had Logan Smothers as their starting quarterback. Right. He was listed there. But every article I saw that said Rich Rod knows that Zion Turner is going to start because Turner plays exactly. If you watch UConn and you watch the limited playing time he had, he plays just like Zion Webb. He's not as good as him, but he plays just like him. So my expectation would be that he'll be the starter. The only reason Smothers is kind of listed as the starter right now is because he was there last year, and I think he played a little bit when Zion Webb was out.
He played.
But if you're looking at their quarterback situation, it's probably going to be Zion Turner, and that doesn't. Neither one of them excites me, but that is not a good situation to have right now.
Yeah, I was saying. Smothers is probably going to maybe start the season, but. Last year this team beat the other Cocks, South Carolina, by they only lost by 10, or they only lost by 10 to them. So, but the issue with the depth though is this team lost Zion Webb. They lost both their running backs. They lost both top receivers, 5 of their 6 leading tacklers. They had a great transfer portal, and this time they have a bunch of FBS athletes instead of SCS coming up. And J. Rock Swain's one of the best defensive ends here, but they still have Hardy and they still lost Hardy and Stevens too. So Andrew Paul's going to be a great running back, but I think they lost. I think they lost too many players to stay here. James Ziegler was signed. He's a JUCO, has experience and contribute right away to the corners, but I know the win total's a bit down here this year. That I thought it was 7.5. I didn't know it went up to 8. But I think it goes under than that too. Really looking forward to the Coastal Carolina game on that Wednesday to start it off. But yeah, I think they lost too much on the offensive side to go over that.
Yeah, and could you scroll down to the graphics and pull up the Jacksonville State defense? It's right towards the top.
That's a tough non-conference schedule. I mean, going to Coastal comes in, and then they go to Louisville and Eastern Michigan. Eastern Michigan's not great, but going on the road to play.
Yeah,
Eastern
and they're at Liberty too this year.
Yeah, they're not beating Liberty.
So you could see all green. I mean, their defense carried this team, and they lost so many pieces. So yeah, under 8 wins for me.